Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So thankful you could join me on this beautiful, prosperous, and abundant Monday as we continue knocking out those goals that we have, becoming the best versions of ourselves, doing it together, ultimately living our best life that we knew we were always meant to. And if you're not quite feeling it today, you already know, pepper and avalanches of prosperity and abundance coming your way as we feel great on this Monday. And what today's video is going to be about is why camping solo was one of the most eye-opening and enlightening experiences I've ever seen in my entire life. So let's get into it. So solo camping for me was one of the most eye-opening and enlightening experiences that I've ever encountered in my existence. And it's kind of interesting coming from the concrete jungle background. For those of you that don't know, I'm from Chicago, so obviously a lot of skyscrapers, buildings, things around, but camping was something that I really didn't do too much when I was in Chicago. So I traded the concrete jungle lifestyle for the more outdoors type lifestyle. But when I went camping, it was always with other people. It was with friends of mine, or I would go with family, or whatever the case may be. And it was something that it was awesome to get out and kind of be with people and to experience the outdoors and kind of rough it, if you will. Sleeping in tents, building fires, just having a good time with people that you love, trust, and want to ultimately be around. But solo camping was something that it took me a while mentally to tell myself I need to go do this. And the reason why was because there was a lot of fear in it. What if I go out there and I am extremely underprepared? I don't have enough food, or I don't know how to build a fire, or I don't know how to set my tent up, or what about the coyotes and the bears and things like that? And so for me, there was a lot of fear in there. And fear is something that we talk a lot about on this channel, that fear is not a real thing. It exists in your mind, and it will continue to exist in your mind if you allow it to. So for me, knowing that I had this fear of solo camping, it was something that held me back for years when it came to going out in the wilderness and just being by myself. It was something that it took me a while to kind of build up to and go, I think I can do this. And so this weekend, I decided to make that trip and just do it. So I was out in the Camp Verde area of Arizona, for those of you that are familiar with it. And I just did it for one weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it was an eye-opening experience and an extremely enlightening experience. And here's why. So the reason why it was enlightening is because it teaches you a lot about yourself. I learned that I could be self-sufficient. When it came to setting up camp, obviously there were times when I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I just started taking action. So I would set up my tent, the camp itself, gather firewood, do what I needed to do in order to make sure that that camping trip was a success. And what that really did was that built up a confidence in myself that I could do this. I could be self-sufficient. I could ultimately make things happen in crunch time, right? Which translates directly into business or relationships or whatever. So it helped me build up a lot of self-confidence in myself that I can actually do this. But the other thing it allowed me to do was knock down some fear barriers that I had about what if I fail? What if I try this and this doesn't work? Or what if, I don't know, something happens and I don't come back, right? It eliminated that fear barrier, and it'll let me know that I had what it takes to go do those things that my mind was ultimately telling me I wasn't capable of doing, right? And so there was a lot of breaking down of barriers and becoming the best version of myself while I was out there camping and understanding the capabilities that I had within me in order to do those things that I didn't really know I had in me at the time. Now, the other thing is getting away from the everyday norm. And I think this was one of the biggest revelations that I had throughout the weekend, was taking myself away from the paradigm that I was used to, from having the mentality of, you know, I have things that I need to take care of, from, you know, doing the social media stuff, to editing, to worrying about my career, to just all these little day in, day out habits that we create. It allowed me a chance to kind of step away from that and get a bigger picture overview of where I was at, and almost like take inventory with number one, where I was at, but then number two, what needed to happen next. Because what was extremely vital was when my mind let go and released the things that I quote unquote needed to do, or that I have been doing on a consistent basis, it allowed me to think more clearly. And when I thought more clearly, my creativity was really starting to ooze. I was starting to think about what the next steps were. I was starting to write down action plans. I was starting to get more clear on my goals and what needed to be done. And I was able to shift my mindset from a how mentality of like, how am I going to accomplish this, or how am I going to do that, to more of a inspirational type mindset, where I was getting back to the basics of who I was at my core and understanding the capabilities that I have, which ultimately, again, helped me build up more self-esteem, which then it flowed into the creativity. And then that's what created the action plan, because I was so used to just focusing on the how, that I wasn't taking a step back to realize who I was at my core, and realizing that as soon as I do that, I'm going to remember, oh yeah, I have everything that I need already. It's just about doing the next logical step. And so by taking that back seat, if you will, and kind of looking at my life as a whole and seeing what's going on around me, I was able to separate that and just get back to the basics of, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, and this is how I'm going to do it. And it made everything just so crystal clear. So again, just really building myself up and understanding who I am as a person. And the best part is you do that in nature as well. And I think that that's one of the most important parts, because we are one with nature. When you're able to get out there and you're able to just release everything, and you're able to just experience what this world has to offer, you really become more thankful. And so the whole experience, if I could just wrap it up, it was extremely powerful from a few different factors. Number one, I was able to release fear. Number two, I was able to build up a lot of confidence in myself that I could go out there and be self-sufficient if I needed to. Number three, I was able to separate myself from my everyday life and routine and habits and understand who I am as a person, therefore helping me get more clear on what I want out of life, therefore making the action steps even easier and understanding what needs to be done next. But then ultimately it just brings me back into remembrance with the fact that I am one with everything, and that there's beauty all around me. And when I take a step back and just realize the beauty that is already here, it just makes me a lot more thankful for the life that I do have. So I would strongly encourage you, if you haven't gone camping by yourself, definitely do so. It's tremendous. It is an eye-opening experience, and it'll help you become the best version of yourself. Other than that, I want to thank you for tuning into the video. Like this video if it resonated with you and you're going to go out there and go learn more about yourself, understand that you can do it and become the best version of yourself. And ultimately, if you haven't, you already know, hit that subscribe button. It's right there. In all of its glory, it's right there. Go ahead and hit it. And then other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Peace.